So in part two of this assignment, what we're going to do is we're going to finish off our columns that we have ready to go here. So we're going to calculate our percent mark for our classwork, for our assignments, and for our tests. And then we're going to calculate our total mark for the class. And to calculate our class mark percentage, it's a fairly easy equation. You've got to take their class mark, and then you've got to divide it by the total that the class mark could be out of, and then you have to multiply that by 100 to get it as a percent. But once again, we run into that problem is if we do the equation here and start to copy it down, it's going to move the cells down correspondingly. So if I say I want to divide T4 by T3, and that gives me the right answer, and then if I move that down one, it'll try and move it as in if it's T4 and T5. So again, I'm going to use that named range. So I'm going to make a named range for each one of these totals or possible totals. And so I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to go to define named range and then add range, and I'm going to call this one classwork. And then I'm going to click on assignments and I'm going to add range, call this one assignments. And then I'll do one for tests. All right, so now I'm going to do this equation. I put in equals, and I want to click on the mark that they have, and then I want to divide that by the named range, which for this one would be classwork. So I'll start typing that in, then that'll show me it, and then you multiply all of that by 100, and that gives us our mark. I'm going to do the same thing for assignments. So again, equals their assignment mark, and then that's divided by the range name, and then multiplied by 100. And last but not least for the tests. Okay, and then once I have those all in there, I can copy those equations down. And then I should have the percentage mark for each of those, just if I wanted to see what that mark actually looked like as a percent rather than just as a raw number over here out of the possible total. All right, next up we need to calculate our total mark. Now this is a much more complicated equation because we are now going to have to figure in our marking scheme, which is 40% for classwork, 40% for assignments, and 20% for tests. So this equation is going to be substantially more, at least a lot longer than the other equations is. And it's going to be equals, and then bracket, bracket. We need two brackets because we actually have a nested equation. And we're going to get our percentage mark, and we're going to times that by 40, which is the category percentage for the term, bracket, and then we're going to divide that by 100, and that'll give us what that would have been out of 40. So then bracket, and then all of that is going to be added to our assignments. So again, we're going to have to go bracket, bracket, and then assignment, and then same thing, that was worth 40%, so it's multiplied by 40, bracket, divided by 100, bracket, and then again add that to our test. So bracket, bracket, isn't this easy? Test, and then this one was at a 20%, so we're going to multiply that by 20, and then divide that by 100, and then bracket, and let's see if that works. Enter. Nope. I missed a bracket somewhere, I think. Oh, I missed dividing. Look at that. Divided by. See, sometimes even I make mistakes. Okay, and so there we would have their total mark for the class based on the percentages that they've gotten, based on the marking scheme, would be a 95. And then this equation we can then copy down to the rest. Since none of them is dependent on anything in another row, they should all work for our calculations. Okay, and then we would have those marks in there. Now, that was a very complicated equation. So if you don't want to remember all of this, I did actually already put this equation in for you. It should be at the bottom of your spreadsheet. If you scroll way down to about line 973, I think somewhere down around here, you'll see just a 0 somewhere down there, or some numbers, or it might be hidden behind the cat that I stuck in there. And if you move that out of the way, the equation is already typed in for you. So all you have to do is click on it and cut it. So click on the cell and then Control X or cut it. We don't want to copy it. We're going to cut that, and then you paste that in the very first one, which is in Z4. And then once you paste that in there, that'll do all the stuff for you. So you won't have to type all of that long equation in. But if you really want to, you can. All right, now the last thing that you're going to be doing to this is you're going to be making sure that everything works, all our equations work, and our name ranges work by adding in a new assignment. So we're going to add in an assignment, which is going to be our exam, which will be part of our test category. And we're going to add that in after the R column. So we're going to just insert a row to the right of that last marked assignment there. And then we're going to get this data, which I've already provided for you in the exam scores spreadsheet that I shared with you. So we're going to go in there, and we're just going to select all of that data. And we're going to copy that, and we can paste that in here. And so that should automatically add all that in the right spot. If we paste that in the top row in that new column that we made, and then you should see now your test should now be out of 160, and those marks should all now be added up to be correct with our exam mark included. Okay, that's everything for today, and that's it for Spreadsheets. So if you got all this done, then we are finished. Until next time.